Well, hi, and welcome to another edition of the Listen to the Missus podcast from WSGW Radio in Saginaw, Michigan. I'm Art Lewis.
I'm Ann Williams.
And we're here to talk about food and lifestyle and all that good stuff that we do on our podcast pretty regularly, including this one. I pulled a list. This has been out a little while, but we hadn't done anything with it. It's a list of the 30 best restaurants in America.
Okay.
And I read the list to see
Have you been to
how
any
many
of them?
I've been. That's what I was looking for. And I did find one of the 30, and it actually was part of this group. It wasn't this exact one, but it was one of them.
Okay.
I'll have to explain that. But I thought I'd go through the list and see how many of them you recognize. Some are very recognizable, and how many of them you never heard of in your life. And then talk a little bit about them. Number 30 on the list, the Kitchen Restaurant in Sacramento, California. And I also have the fixed price menu prices for these places.
Okay.
$135 without beverage.
Okay.
Yes,
Upscale dining?
indeed. And you would have to help me with this. Le Coucou, C-O-U-C-O-U, Le Coucou, in New York, average price, food only, for a price fixed menu, $79. That I got news
that's
for you.
kinda
That's reasonable in New York.
Yeah.
The Herb Farm Restaurant in Woodinville, Washington, fixed price, wine included, $205 to $285.
That's kind of hefty.
A little pricey. They get better. Chef Mavro in Honolulu, Hawaii, fixed price per food only, $95, $155, and $192. Three different price fixed menus. Herons in Cary, North Carolina. Stop me if you've been to any of these now.
Not yet.
$95, $105, and $150. Gabrielle Cruther in New York, fixed price, $155 and $235. Daniel, located in New York. I've heard of that one. $158 and $250. These prices are all for price fixed menus. And Naka in Los Angeles, $200 to $225. Chef's Table at Brooklyn Fair. I've heard of that. Average price per person, food only, $362.21.
Wow. Okay.
Restaurant Gay Savoy in Las Vegas, average price per person, food only, $223. Fixed price, $385. Minibar by Jose Andres in Washington, D.C., fixed price menu, $275. Moving up the list, number 17, Saison in San Francisco. Average price, $148 and $298, but that does include the gratuity.
Okay.
Number 16, Vetri Cucina in Philadelphia. Fixed price, $165. Number 15, Maressa in Los Gatos, California. Fixed price, $275. 14, Atilia Cren in San Francisco. Average price with gratuity, $335. I haven't heard you stop me yet.
I have not found one that I've been to yet.
Joël Robuchon in Las Vegas, fixed price per person, $127, $198, $250, and $445. Can't imagine what that one is, but we're not done yet. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Masa, is that not a Bobby Flay, or is his Mesa
I think it's
Grill?
Mesa Grill,
Okay.
yeah.
This is Masa in New York. Fixed price menu per person, but gratuity included, $595.
Per person?
Per person.
Good grief.
Benu in San Francisco, fixed price $310. Here is the only one I have been to, although not in this city. Spago, Wolfgang Puck's restaurant chain. I was at the one in Chicago, but it's the same. This is in Beverly Hills. Average price $157, fixed price $145. but
That
it
sounds
wasn't
kind of
reasonable for
Yeah,
Chicago.
compared to some of what we've
and it was
heard.
a lot less in Chicago. It was 50, 60. You know, it wasn't outrageous. Let's put it that way. And it was on a company account at the time. The Inn at Little Washington comes in number 7 in that's in Washington and Virginia. Fixed price $238. Per se in New York, $225 and $355. Providence in Los Angeles, $130, $185 and $240. Here is one, of course, we've all heard of, but I've never been to. The French Laundry in Yountville, California, $325. Here's another one I've heard of, Alania in Chicago, fixed price $190 to $395. Number 2, 11 Madison Park in location in New York, $175 and $335. And finally, also in New York, Les Bernardines, $160, $170, $187, $225.
Well, I think the moral of the story is you are going to pay for one of the best restaurants in the country with prominent
And
chefs
famous chefs,
and famous chefs.
You're
Yeah.
gonna. It's sort of
It
like
doesn't come cheap.
sort of like buying designer clothes. You know, you pay for the label as much as the fabric and the garment. We assume the fabric and the garment and the construction are better, but you're also paying for that name.
Right.
So there you go.
I think that's kind of expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's my list.
Some of them are quite
Pricey.
high up there, aren't they?
Yeah, I didn't hear any $120s.
No.
Oh well, that's the list.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Well, a couple of things came into our newsroom actually yesterday. The USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture, did a study. You know, we've heard that, maybe some of our listeners have not heard, but it's not a good idea to wash poultry.
Yeah.
They've been, the experts have been saying that for the last few years, that you should not be washing your poultry, but many people still think that you should. Matter of fact, I ran across a recipe just very recently for chicken, and it suggested washing the chicken
Yeah.
before you cooked it. Well,
We should explain the reason they were saying don't wash it is it splashes.
that's
the
what I was
poultry
getting
juice.
to.
Yeah.
This study was done. The USDA recently did a study kind of confirming what we've been hearing, that it's not a good idea to wash poultry, because they say that a lot of the times, it splashes and affects a lot of other things that, your surfaces in your kitchen, other foods and all that kind of thing. And so to decrease your risk when you're preparing poultry, they suggest especially that you prepare your vegetables, your salads and all that before you handle the poultry. So get that all done first and then deal with your poultry. That way you can cut down on any cross-contamination. They say after you have, been working with poultry, you should clean all your surfaces with soap and water and then use a sanitizer on top of that to get rid of any lingering contamination. And also, they remind people that it's important to use a meat thermometer. Chicken, you want to have that up to 165. Different
Right.
meats are different temperatures, but usually your thermometer will tell you on there what temperature should be, or your recipe will tell you how hot your food wants to be. But poultry especially is the one that we always are told is the one to be extra careful about. The other thing I had here was another study that was done. Something went viral the other day, and a lot of people might have seen it. Somebody bought one of those plastic clamshell containers of salad greens. that
Oh,
are
yes,
supposed
yes.
to be already washed and everything. And usually people eat those right out of the container. Well, this particular container had a live frog inside.
And it wasn't labeled frog legs?
No. And this has been happening with increasing frequency
Oh, that's not
in
good.
the last number of years, that people who have bought these bag salads have found some kind of an animal inside. And many times they're still alive. That was the case here, that this toad was still alive.
And plenty to eat.
Yeah. And so they did a study on this to try to figure out, how often it happens and what kind of animals are being found. 53% of the animals found were frogs and toads. They looked back about a few years, I think. They looked at the last 39 incidents where this has happened. And as I said,
So are they hitching a ride out of the farm field?
they're not really sure. They have to study it more. That was the bottom line of this study, that they don't really know how it's happening, but they need to study it more. But 53% were frogs and toads, 23% were reptiles, and 18% were mammals, and the rest were birds. There was a bat found. once.
in a bag of salad.
Yeah. And, these salads have been really popular since they were introduced back in the 80s. I buy them myself quite often.
Yep.
And, the automated production equipment that they have to use and all that, is probably one of the reasons. But they don't really know how it's happening. They need to study it and figure it out, they said.
I would have thought they'd have screening equipment, though, to determine that. But
Yeah.
guess not.
I guess, maybe kind of check it out before you munch. Check your bag out.
Yeah,
eat a
shake your
potato
bag.
or two.
Anybody in there?
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
buying a pet. I'm buying food.
Yeah. And I don't know if you had anything. I had some products to
Yeah, I've got
talk
a
about.
couple of things.
Why
and
don't
so
you
do
go
I.
ahead first?
All right. Well, our friends at Aldi's are at it again.
Oh.
You know that they had put out this chocolate-filled Belgian waffle. It was a huge
Ooh.
hit at Waldy's.
That sounds really good.
Well, apparently they have outdone themselves again with a pancake mix. The unicorn confetti with marshmallows pancake mix. Hard to miss when you walk down the Aldi's aisle, a bright pink box filled with lots and lots of epic sprinkles, magical and gooey marshmallows.
That's
and
for
you
the
know,
kids, huh?
Yep. It just seems to me, and I think you might agree, we have heard more and more and more about Aldi's in the last couple of years.
They
They're
have some unique
advertising,
products,
they
yeah.
have unique products, and their stores are doing very well.
One of the things that you've talked about that we've had a lot of questions about on our when we had our daily radio show was about the raviolis.
Yep, the
you
crab
like to
and
get
shrimp
their
raviolis.
yeah, and they only have those periodically, right?
Periodically.
Yeah.
They're in the frozen
Crab and
case.
shrimp raviolis.
And they're really good.
Yeah.
So when we see them, we buy them. Mm-hmm. So because you know what'll happen, you run out and they won't have them when you want them. So we keep a stock at home. We're hoarding, folks. We're hoarding.
Yeah.
Here's another. This particular one is not here. This is in Dubai, believe it or not. But everybody's saying how long before it gets here. Oreos, another new flavor.
Oh.
They work overtime at
They
flavors
do.
at Oreo. Orange Tang flavored Oreos. The filling is orange, and it's a Tang flavor.
Okay.
And
Well, I've heard of the chocolate. Sometimes you can get chocolates with orange in it, and orange and chocolate
Yeah.
is a thing.
well,
so.
apparently they really captured the taste of orange Tang in the cream filling. Whether it's a good thing or not, they'll leave that up to you. Whether it gets to this country or not, we'll leave that up to Oreo. But there it is.
All righty.
And one other note that has to do, it's funny, you talked about what they found in salads. Apparently there's been a listeria outbreak in countries across the world, and it includes Spain, Canada, and the United States. They found some bacteria in pork and chicken products. The first of the two outbreaks, discovered in Canada, involved Georgia poultry, but it hasn't caused any illness yet. But per the FDA, the Tip Top poultry chicken is frozen, diced, and ready to eat. It was done on January 21st, 2019. Packages are labeled with the number P17453. Hotels, restaurants, institutions, some stores. And the problem was spotted by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. However, in Spain, they've actually had illnesses, 100 people or more. That had to do with a pork supplier in the region of Andalusia. So if you go in there, be aware. And some of this food, you never know what makes it to the shelf. So there you go. But in this country anyway, apparently they have not found it in the food in this country, but it came out of Georgia to Canada. So there
watch
you
for that.
go. And you got some recipes. Speaking of
Well,
food.
I had a couple products too.
A couple of products. Okay.
Yeah. The first one is, they brought back cheese balls. Planters took away cheese balls. They weren't on the market. They only had the cheese doodles. what do you call those things? Anyway, but they brought back the cheese balls last summer, and it was only supposed to be temporary. But people were so excited and they were so happy about it, they announced just yesterday, which was August 20th. We're recording this
Right.
on the 21st. They announced yesterday they are bringing back cheese balls permanently.
All right.
So to celebrate that, they are giving away a limited edition cheese powder, just the powder. They're going to sell these. They're giving them away, not selling them. Shakers full of cheese ball powder that you can sprinkle on your foods
Sure.
at random, whatever you want to do. Now, this is a special contest actually that they're happening. They're only giving away like 300 jars of this. And between August 20th and September 1st, you have to you have to tweet them and use the hashtag cheeseballcontest, and you can enter up to 10 times, and you have to tell them what you would shake your cheese ball powder on, what food you would shake it on.
Oh, yeah.
And so you may win one of those jars. If you're
How
lucky.
about that?
So that's one. The other one, we have a special song that goes with this one. Parents out there and grandparents are probably familiar with the song Baby Shark. It's a viral song that all the kids love. Baby Shark. Here it goes. Huh?
Baby shark, do 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 do. Baby shark, do 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 do. Baby shark.
Well, guess what? There's going to be a Baby Shark cereal.
Oh, really?
The company that made this song, called Pinkfong, is partnering with Kellogg's out of Battle Creek, Michigan, here where we are in Michigan, to make a Baby Shark cereal. This song, by the way, has had more than 3 billion with a B
If
views
you open the box, will it
on
play?
YouTube. I don't know, but it's a limited edition cereal. It's going to be out this month. It might be
All
out
right.
already, and it's going to have berry flavored loops and marshmallow bits blended together, and the Baby Shark cereal. So your kids, I'm sure, if they're a Baby Shark fan, will
Marvelous.
love that.
Yeah.
And then we did have a couple recipes today. We like to share a couple of classic recipes from our Listen to the Mrs. Files. These would be good for the upcoming Labor Day holiday. This one is a baked potato salad.
Oh,
You want 2 pounds of red potatoes, 2 cups of kosher salt, a cup of dairy sour cream, 8 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese grated, 2 ounces of canola oil, 8 ounces of cooked bacon diced, a bunch of scallions chopped, and 4 ounces of butter cut into cubes. What you want to do is toss the potatoes in the oil and salt. You put them on a baking sheet and bake them at 350 till they're tender, about 30 or 45 minutes. When they're done and they're cooled off, you cut them into large chunks and add all the rest of the ingredients, salt and pepper to taste, chill before serving, and there you have a baked potato salad, a nice twist on a regular potato salad.
Yeah,
For the
absolutely.
upcoming holiday.
Absolutely.
And here's a mixed up brownie delight, a dessert for you for the holiday. A cup of butter or margarine, 2 cups of sugar, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, a half cup of chopped walnuts, a half cup of milk chocolate chips, an 1/8 cup of smooth peanut butter, 4 ounces of unsweetened chocolate, 4 eggs, 1½ cups of sifted flour, a half cup of white chocolate chips, 12 ounces of caramels, and a half cup of evaporated milk. So you melt the butter and the unsweetened chocolate first. Take it off the heat, stir in the sugar, add the eggs one at a time, then the vanilla, stir in the flour, mix well, and then you take that mixture and pour half of it into a greased 9x13 pan. Bake that at 350, about 6 minutes. And then while they're baking, you want to melt your caramels, your peanut butter and evaporated milk all together. Stir that up till nice and smooth. And then you're going to pour that over that brownie layer. Then you're going to sprinkle on top the chocolate chips, the nuts, and the rest of the brownie batter on top of that. Bake another 15 minutes at 350. Let them cool. Cut into squares, and you have mixed up brownie delight. Yum.
The only word I can think of when you were reading that was decadent.
Yes. Doesn't that sound good?
We'll leave you with that one, folks. It's been fun. Look forward to doing it again here on our Listen to the Missus podcast. I'm Art Lewis.
I'm Ann Williams.
Have a great day.